You are listening to the Self-Trust Solution Podcast with Dawn Lede, episode number 97. Welcome back. Today we're talking about advanced goal setting and integrating self-trust into your plans. This episode is for anyone who's ever set a goal, created a plan, and then found themselves stuck or overwhelmed when it came time to execute. If you've ever experienced procrastination, lack of motivation, or perfectionism creeping in, this episode will teach you how to integrate self trust into your goal setting strategy and ensure follow through no matter the challenges. We'll cover strategic goal setting, the power of a roadmap, building self trust through discomfort, and creating flexibility while meeting deadlines. Did you know the number one reason most people don't reach their goals? It's the dialogue in their head. But what if that inner chatter could actually work for you? Download my free ebook and discover how to turn self talk into your greatest asset on the path to success. Get your free copy of Master Your Inner Dialogue at theselftrustcoach.com. Now, on to the episode. A goal without a plan is just a wish, and a plan without a roadmap is just a collection of disconnected steps. Neither will get you to the success you're aiming for without two essential ingredients: trust and willingness. This willingness isn't just about going after the goal, although that is pretty important, right? It's also about having the willingness to face discomfort, to feel resistance, and to move forward anyway. It also takes creating some of the certainty that our brains crave. And let's be honest, when it comes to goals, particularly big goals, there's some uncertainty. There's pretty much uncertainty in anything we do, but our brains crave it. And so we want to give it as much certainty as we can. And in the Self-Trust Lab, we focus on creating that through a strategic approach to goals, moving away from what many of us do, which is a more random and unstructured approach. We start by clearly defining the goal. This includes the what, and we bring it to life with a power statement by bringing it to the present. So, for example, if your goal is to be promoted to VP by January 15th, your goal would be stated as secure position as VP by January 15th. And the accompanying power statement would be, I'm living into my role as VP. Once that goal is defined, it's time to break it down into the how. So we have to make the goal visible, written somewhere, typed, written. It does need to be documented somewhere with a firm deadline that you will know that you've achieved it. And we have to bring it to the current, make it real now. I am living into it. So that when we start to build the how, we are brainstorming every possible step it will take to reach that goal, including learning, skill building, hiring, training, and even breaks for vacations and holidays. This isn't just about being prepared, it's about creating certainty and structure that your brain craves, which means now we just have this big running list, right? You just keep on brainstorming, not yet getting to the win. We'll get there. But right now, just getting all the how out to your best ability, guessing what you know. We know it's going to evolve, it's going to change. You're going to learn more along the way. You're going to know more, but we're starting with what we know. Next, we're going to plan for obstacles. Often we think obstacles mean something is wrong, but obstacles are simply part of the process. In the self-trust lab, we categorize these obstacles into 3 types. They generally all fall into either a knowledge gap, a skill gap, or a belief gap. And we develop strategies for handling each one. So, for example, if you know you'll encounter procrastination or a lack of motivation, plan for it ahead of time. Perhaps you'll decide that when you feel unmotivated, instead of making it mean something's gone wrong or beating yourself up, you'll take a few deep breaths and then continue with the task at hand. Maybe you'll use your comfort plan that we've discussed in previous episodes to gently support yourself while moving through the discomfort and carrying on with your plan. These are strategies for obstacles that we anticipate encountering. The more that we can create a plan for ourselves, when something comes up, we have more belief in our ability. We have more access to the belief in our ability to carry through. Once we have the what and the how, including the obstacles and the steps that we know it will take, we use 2 approaches to build timelines. The traditional deadline, which is setting a deadline for when your goal will be completed. This works best when your goal is tied to a specific date. Like if you have to have your book to your editor by January 1st, that would be a traditional timeline. And with traditional timelines, we're just taking what we know about the how much time we anticipate each thing taking in hours, minutes, and then breaking that up into time blocks between now and that deadline that work for you. That is the traditional deadline. What we love to use when possible is the flexible deadline. Now, this does not mean that your deadline moves. It's not flexible in that way. We're just being flexible in what that end date is, what we call the success date. This approach also includes calculating the total hours that it will take to achieve your goal. And then we decide how much time we want to dedicate to our goal, thinking that of our whole selves. So if you have work in addition to going after your goal, if you have family commitments, if you have hobbies or exercise that's really important to you, whatever your routine is and your daily obligations or commitments, we decide where our goals fit into our lives in a way that supports us and our goals. Does this mean that some things are put aside for a while? Sometimes. It's totally up to you. But it's looking for space that is what I like to think of as like a luxurious amount of time. So, for instance, if achieving your goal requires 320 hours and you decide to dedicate 10 hours per week to it. So, for instance, you feel that it would be just amazing to work on your goal 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. You can calculate with 320 hours and 10 hours per week that you would reach your goal in approximately 32 weeks. You may want to adjust for any holidays or breaks to land on your success date. This approach creates a sense of spaciousness and prevents the burnout that comes from overly aggressive deadlines. There's something about setting a deadline this way, and we've done the exercise. Sometimes what a traditional deadline and the flexible deadline, if we do an A/B test, sometimes they end up being the same thing. But the mindset with a flexible deadline is so different. And so when you can, I do encourage you to practice that, to try it out, to see what your success date would be if you use a flexible deadline calculation approach. There's something about also the spaciousness that it provides in when it comes time to sit down and do the tasks. There's less buffering and there's less procrastination because you have decided this is what I want to spend on this. This is a no-brainer, feels good amount of time to work on my goal every day or every week or every month or every quarter, whatever that is for you. And you're putting in based on the times that you have set. Now you've broken it down and put it into your schedule based on when you want to work on it in these blocks of time that work for you. So you're also being more flexible in some of the rules you may have created around what it takes to get things done. So this is a really big self-trust building exercise, and it is an exercise in seeing that not everything has to be done from pressure or rigid rules. We can create rules that work for us, that support us. It's also a way to incorporate a different approach to scheduling, to use time in a way that supports you, your life, and your goals. Your schedule should be built in a way that organizes and uses time to support you, your life, and your goals. So once you have set your success date, whether it's a traditional deadline or a flexible deadline, that process that you've used, it's time to actually put it into your schedule according to that timeline. And then the most critical part of achieving your goal, which is following through on the plan. This is where self-trust really shines, but you've also incorporated it along the way with these steps that we've gone through. So you're not just relying on willpower. You're relying on your commitment to yourself, your goal, and your carefully crafted plan. When obstacles arise, you have strategies to overcome them. When resistance surfaces, you can recognize that it's normal and respond with self-compassion and understanding rather than harsh judgment or considering it as a reason that you should pause or stop on your goal. This is what makes self-trust so powerful. It allows you to stay committed even when the discomfort of the process shows up. It removes the drama from setbacks and distractions and keeps you focused on what matters most. And that's your progress and your commitment to your own growth and the goals you want to achieve. What will you take away from today's episode? My goal is for you to leave this episode with a clear understanding of how to set your goals in a way that brings more certainty and planning from the outset. The tools to create a flexible yet structured roadmap for your goals, accounting for learning, obstacles, and real life interruptions. A plan to overcome the discomfort and resistance that naturally arise during goal pursuit using understanding and self-compassion, and maybe the comfort plan. And if you want to know more about the comfort plan, go download the book, or you can find it in previous episodes about follow through. And finally, confidence in your ability to not only set goals, but follow through on them by leaning into the power of self-trust and strategy. So build a detailed roadmap for your goals, including strategies to overcome obstacles. Embrace discomfort as a normal part of the process. Set flexible timelines based on the time you want to dedicate to your goal each week and according to how long you think it will take to do it. And then follow through on your goals with self-trust, knowing you have the plan and tools to succeed. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Self-Trust Solution Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share it with a friend, and tune in next week for more insights on self-trust and personal growth. Until next time, keep trusting yourself and keep moving forward. Are you ready to finally achieve your goals with a simple and effective approach? Join the Self Trust Lab, our 3E success method to streamlined goal success will help you shift limiting beliefs, build a solid goal strategy, and create a roadmap for infallible follow through. With master level coaching and personalized guidance, you'll apply these tools and methods to make your goal success inevitable. You'll learn to overcome obstacles, make strategic adjustments, and celebrate every win along the way. Don't miss out on this opportunity to transform your life and how you go after your goals. Sign up today at theselftrustcoach.com/the Self Trust Lab. See you inside.